Welcome to the first edition of our 2022 monthly economic update. I'm John Cleaver, partner and senior financial advisor.
And I'm Dennis Bacon, Chief Investment Officer at Beyond Wealth Advisors.
Well, we're back for another year, and it looks to be another exciting one.
Aren't they all?
They appear to be lately, for sure. So, yes, we're excited for 2022, and as we think about where we've been and kind of where we're at right now, what I want you to do is put yourself forward about 12 months, look back on 2022. What are some of the things that you think are going to be kind of monumental this year?
Well, I think we'll be glad when 2022 is over.
Okay.
Okay.
We just got started.
I know. But we're going into a year that I think is going to be a year of transition.
Right.
Over the course of the past several months, we've been in an environment that's highly influenced by COVID and all of the things and fallouts from COVID.
Right.
As we move forward, what we would hope and what I feel like is going to happen, we're going to be much more in a year of transition.
Right.
We have had a new president. We've had a lot of things happen last year, and COVID was just compounded all the different things. As we move into this year of transition, we got to expect a lot of volatility and course changes, and hopefully by the time we get to the end of it, life will find a different cadence that will seem somewhat normal.
Right,
you know?
but underline, okay economy. Maybe
Okay
even
economy.
better than okay economy.
The economy's strong. It's just
Right.
not going to be as strong as it has been.
So what are some of those areas that you think might be most impacted by a transition?
Well, I guess what I'd like to say is, as we move through this transition, I think as a nation, we have a lot of paths we have to recalibrate, so to speak.
Right.
We're looking at the issue of health awareness.
Right.
No matter where you fall on the COVID spectrum, I think we're going to become more health aware, and we're going to be kind of forced to. If you don't want to, you're going to be forced to, but that's what's going to happen. As we look forward, we have there's been some changes trying to be made on the energy front, more green energy versus petroleum-based energy. I think we're going to see that kind of pendulum swing back a little bit more to still looking to develop renewable sources.
New sets of challenges too that come with that.
Exactly. I think over the course of the past couple of months, or past couple of years rather, we have had a huge societal safety net that was provided by the government. People would argue whether it was necessary or how much it was necessary, too much, too little. There's all kinds of arguments about it. But I think there's going to be some rethinking of how that type of thing works. And during an election year, those type of things tend to come to the front. And that brings us to the role of government and how much impact they need to have on our life. A lot of people feel like they have way too much impact already. Some people want more support from the government, and I think those are some challenges that we're going to be facing going forward. And within that, there are a lot of regional differences.
I mean, we're not all like California,
or New York,
or
Illinois,
or
Florida, or Texas.
There you go. You named them all.
That's right. Yeah, I could try to make the horn. I think there's going to be, as we go through this political season, I think there is a thirst in the country to have less drama.
Right.
And along with that, I think will come some people that will come to the forefront trying to help solve that problem, and that's what we would hope. And so that's one of the things I think that's going to come out of this. They didn't really address the economic side of it, but those things, if they can become some normalcy, will bode well for the economy in the long term, because now we can start focusing on those things that impact everybody.
Right. Well, that's really, really good. And you mentioned that, okay economy right now. Some might even say a fairly strong economic mindset in terms of where we're going. So what does that look like for us as we think about what we should expect from the market this year? We know the market and the economy are really two different things. So what should we expect from the market?
Well, because of all the things that's going to be in the media, I expect a lot of volatility in the market. Okay, I do expect a lot of volatility. On the economic front, which I'm more concerned about the economy in reality, because I feel like ultimately the market catches up with the economy or pulls back with the economy, as the case may be. But the real force is the economic force. Within the economy, there's a couple of things that I'm really watching for this year. I can't really give you the answer to them right now, but one is the fact that we're having inflation. 6.8% last year, depending on who you listen to, the highest since the early 80s. And really the late 70s in reality. But We also, how the Fed is going to react to that. We're in a historically low interest rate environment. Typically, the Fed ramps up interest rates to stem inflation. It hasn't always worked, to be honest with you. If you actually look at the numbers, it's good at slowing the economy down,
Right.
but not necessarily inflation. And we do look for that to be one of the driving forces. And the Federal Reserve typically has been behind the curve. And in doing this, so then they try to play catch up, which plays havoc with the economy. We're going to have to see how they do this time.
Right.
And I think and all of that is commingled with some true economic challenges that we have. One is a supply chain issue.
Still dealing with that.
Yeah, still dealing with that. We're still going to have some things there. And we still will have some vestiges of the COVID landscape and how that commingles with the inflation and everything. So we have a lot of headwinds coming up. We're fortunate very few times have we had this many headwinds and had a strong underlying economy.
Right.
So that's kind of buoyed us up. So we just want to be cautiously optimistic going forward, but also very vigilant in watching what is happening on the economic front and what happens with interest rates and how the economy, not the market, but the economy reacts to interest rate changes. Because they've announced they're going to have 3 interest rate changes this year, more than likely.
Well, that's an excellent economic outlook. We'll call it an economic outlook from one Dennis Bacon for 2022. Be sure to tune in for the coming months as we unpack all of those areas, I'm sure, and more in greater detail. And we certainly want to encourage you to reach out to your advisor if you have questions or have a need for more information. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can get all of the monthly economic updates at your fingertips. So with that, here's to a great 2022.
And enjoy the NFL playoffs this year.
Oh, there you go. All right.